So if we, cool. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you. Welcome to Building Your Personal Training Business in 2025. This is pretty excited to be delivering this tonight. We had 50 registrations for it. People are trickling in late, which is fine, and watching it on Facebook. And a lot of people are going to watch the recording. So I never get too stressed about these numbers. There we go. There's another one coming in right now. So if people are late, I'm going to let you in as it comes. It's no problems there. What I want you to do is just, if there's any questions, put in the chat box. If it's on Facebook, I actually have my Facebook open below, but on my phone, but without the video of myself, because that would do my head in, give myself an aneurysm. I will respond to questions and be able to see them as well. I've got the notification bar open, so it'll make life a lot easier. Just leave a little note about yourself if you come in, chat, how many years PT, speciality, stuff like that. Okay. So building your business in 2025. So I'm going to start with the boring stuff. Why me? It's a good question. Why not is my answer. But generally, I have been in the trenches doing this for 21 years now. I'm not a business guru. Okay, even though I do business coaching now, and that's my primary business, I'm not a business guru who just learned a bunch of stuff and started teaching it without doing it. I still do the same stuff every single day that I teach in my clients and my business. Okay. So even today, I had a sales call with a online personal training client at 4 o'clock, which converted into a client, which is winning. So 2 times training a year. So I was good at stuff, which is pretty cool. In 1 year, post-COVID, I took my business from 50K to 250K online in 1 year, which was pretty impressive, I thought, because I did very little sell by chat. I did very little organic marketing. I did very little, I did 0 paid advertising. Okay, so a lot of it was based on referrals and word of mouth, which is something we're going to talk about today. Again, I've had 21 years of PT experience, and my students now routinely make 10K, and some are making 40K plus. One of my students the other day added 12K a month to their business in 2 weeks with some of the strategies that we'll talk about today and that we talk about in the coaching program. But we are at Ascend, our why. We are primarily not a business coaching institution. And that's something that I want to be aware of. We are an institution where we help people become excellent at what they do. And we use that as a vessel for personal development and becoming the best self that they can be, self-actualization and reaching a level they didn't feel like they could reach before, or didn't feel confident to do that. And whether that vessel is physical fitness, understanding something at a high level cognitive function, building a business that allows you to do that, that's our why. Our why was never to help people build $10,000 a month online training businesses. Our why was helping people to self-actualize and become the best self possible. So 0 to 10K is something that we use to sell because it's something that's very tangible that people can want. And it's not really our why, but that brings people in and gives people a concrete target to shoot for. And when people hit that first 10K, what generally happens is they feel confident they can hit the next income level, the next income, the next income, the next income. So it is a progression. Okay. So what we're going to go over is why we struggle, a bunch of reasons why we struggle, and then how we're going to fix it step by step. And then what we're going to do is do some audits and basically look at the mindset behind having a business. So I gave this presentation earlier today, or a very similar presentation to my students in the paid program. And what a lot of them found was they're doing the wrong things at the wrong time, and they're also not becoming the person they need to be to run the business that they want. So that's something that we certainly need to improve. And I'm going to go through some ways that you can basically analyze this for yourself, and then some strategies that you can use to grow. So the first reason that everyone struggles in the PT businesses in the online world is not a lack of leads. It's not a lack of leads. It's not poor sales or anything like that. It's the fact that the foundation of the business is not solid. I want to repeat that. Is the fact that the foundation of the business is not solid. If you don't believe your business has the solid foundations in foot, or your customer doesn't believe your business has a solid foundation underneath it to give you the support, to give them the support they need to achieve their goal, the likelihood of them investing in you is very, very low. Okay. When you invest in anything, if the person you're purchasing it from has a high degree of certainty in the product and how it works, you're far more likely to invest in that person and or product. Okay. If they're uncertain about what they do or how they do it or how they're going to get there or solve your problem, the clients are going to leave. And I don't think there's a lead problem. I think leads are everywhere. There's, 7 billion people in the world who all need help with their health, their wealth, and relationships. They're the 3 common human desires. And the businesses that don't work don't have a foundation. The exceptions to the rules to this are the businesses that blow up because of huge social media profiles or viral stuff that happens. But what happens to those businesses is the exact same thing. They go under. And they go under horribly because they don't have the structure to do this. F45 was a recent business that exploded and did well, but the foundation of the business was not solid enough. It expanded faster than what the foundation could hold. Every personal trainer would talk about the foundation of their clients' training and nutrition being the most important thing for their results. People want fast fat loss. There is no difference in between these two concepts conceptually. Okay. So if you want fast business results, if your foundation of your business is shaky and isn't built well, the likelihood that anything is going to give you a quick, rapid influx of 10 to 20 clients is very, very low. So the reasons we struggle is programs lack structure. In-person personal training, it is far easier to apply progressive overload to a client and to actually make sure that they execute things well because you're there. You're watching the person. You can see exactly what they're doing. It is easier to coach someone in person than it is online. People think it's the other way around because you don't have to watch sets and reps. To get people to train online is harder. And you need to have a better system of progression for clients and a system for them to achieve measurable outcomes and get results for them to stick with you. It is really that simple. Results are a huge thing. And every online coach I know, or I have inquired with me or in other programs, are always looking for lead generation tools rather than looking at what can I actually do to be better. Okay. Now, next one is coaching systems are inconsistent. Ad hoc approaches lead to inconsistent results and poor retention for that. So retention is a huge part of a personal training business. There is no way that we can actually say that retention is not the most important thing for a long-term sustainable cash flow. If your coaching is inconsistent, so one week the client gets a check-in, the next week they get a text message, the next week they get nothing at all, the next week they get an email, the client's going to go, what is going on? So that ad hoc approach where you do what you feel like when you feel like, which is a poor system, will lose results. And I can guarantee that any trainer watching this who has actually done that has found they've lost clients. Because you know what? I know I have. I'm not perfect, and I've made just as many mistakes as everyone who'll be watching this video, maybe even more. Okay, probably even more because I've been doing it for longer. Next one is, and this happens all the time, and I had a conversation with an online coach today who runs a very successful in-person coaching business, 20 sessions, 120, so he's making $2,400 a month, $2,400 a week, sorry, in his personal training business. Onboarding sucks. And a poor client onboarding experience will leave clients confused, will reduce buy-in and long-term success. And we see this time and time again. And this is the same for every service-based business. If a client doesn't understand how you do things, doesn't understand what they're meant to do within the business, and how to use the tools that you're talking about within that time frame of 2 to 4 weeks, they will leave. Okay. The majority of personal training clients in the online space leave at these time frames. And this is something that I highly recommend you walk down. You write down, not walk down. Walk down is a bad wording. My apologies. You'd write down that they leave between 2 and 4 weeks. 2 to 4 weeks. If a client leaves, it means your onboarding was shit. It didn't work. It didn't give them the result. If they leave at 12 weeks, it's because you gave the client the impression that 12 weeks was enough time for them to achieve their outcome, and you didn't give them the continuing education they need to let them know that this is something they need to do for a long period of time. And then after 2 years is when they get bored. Anywhere from 6 months to 12 to 2 years is when you get bored. And I don't have a problem with people losing their clients after 2 years because no one stays with anyone forever. Like my longest client is 21 years, so she just might, but God knows I want to fire her. No, I'm kidding. She's lovely, but that's not the norm, okay? And not a lot of people are like that. But if you can inspire that type of loyalty, your business is going to be pretty strong because money will be there. And then the last one here is accountability and retention are afterthoughts. And I see this all the time. Trainers don't like answering questions quickly. They don't like being bothered by clients. They just want to do their check-in or the bare minimum. One of the things that I want to change in the online coaching industry in 2025 is getting people away from doing the bare minimum work. Okay. If we want to be excellent service providers, we need to provide an excellent service, and providing that accountability and retention are afterthoughts. I made a mistake with a high ticket client last week where I didn't actually get to them at the right time of day, and he was annoyed about it. At the right time, on our booked appointments, he was annoyed about it. And this was over the holiday break, but he's a high ticket client. He's paying me a significant amount of money, $250 a week, which is pretty good, all right, for online coaching. When he expressed his displeasure with me today, you know what I did? I called him straight away. I apologized for it, and I created a plan and got him back on track. He didn't feel like he was getting enough accountability for me, and I had delivered a lot of information to him, but it wasn't in a way that was ideal for him just yet. The difference was I emphasized the fact that I needed to take accountability myself for the mistake and then do that with the client. And a lot of online coaches could benefit from that. If a client doesn't feel like they're getting enough accountability, they're not getting enough accountability. And if you think they're not paying enough, it generally comes in the fact that you overpromise what they're going to get. So be very clear in your expectations. Again, this is all level results of a shitty system. Now, reason two is it should be something different, but this is actually the output that coaches have. Okay, so let's change that. There we go. That was fun. On the live flyers. Okay. I asked this question to a lot of my students. I asked a bunch today, and I asked it to my clients as well. We need to calibrate our effort and our expectations and see if they match up. So the thing that I talked about today is that there are three main things that will give you a successful personal training business. Speaking is number one, because that covers sales, communicating with clients, and coaching. Systems, which is going to give you the foundation for your business to work upon. Okay. And then skills, which are the skills to actually deliver the service. If you have someone that can talk really well and can sell really convincingly and can convince clients to do things, even they may not be the best things ever, and they have really strong systems to deliver that, then guess what? They're going to be successful in their business. Versus if you have someone that's technically elite, but has terrible communication skills and no systems, they're not going to have a successful business. Okay. So what I did is I got my students to compare their sales, their speaking skills, sales, communication, clients, coaching, etc. Give them a score out of 10. Then to do their systems of their business, give their business systems a score out of 10, and then give their skill set a score out of 10. What I also added on top of that is for their own personal fitness endeavors, because I think all personal trainers should take their fitness seriously, because you don't get to see a dentist whose teeth are falling out of their mouth. What I did was rate your training out of 10 compared to the people who have already achieved your goal or actively close to achieving your peak goal, your dream, big, hairy, audacious goal. Rate your nutrition out of 10 based on the people who are eating in the perfect way to actually achieve your goal, and then also your commitment to recovery and mindset for the people that have achieved that goal. Every single person thus far has overrated themselves significantly. So currently, I'm speaking. I'm giving a presentation. I'm giving myself like a 4 or 5 out of 10 in terms of the quality of this presentation compared to some of the really, really good presenters. If you compared me to someone like an Anthony Robbins, who's been doing it for his whole life, you probably find some people might like me better, but you probably find that by all objective measures, he's better than I am. Okay. So when I'm looking at my speaking and my ability to present, I'm comparing it to someone like that. And a lot of coaches don't do this. They think that posting once or twice a week on Instagram and putting up 1 or 2 stories and then training your clients and that's about it is actually a solid work week. And it's absolutely not. Most coaches are working at a 4 out of 10 intensity, if that. Okay. And that's never going to yield a 10 out of 10 result. When you're trying to build a 6-figure business, there is no industry where it's just something that you just sit in your laptop and go to the beach and it just happens like that. Yet there seems to be a perception that in online coaching, that's reality. It's absolutely not true. Are there a few outliers who have achieved that? Yeah, absolutely. There are probably people who have spent 10 out of 10 effort on their own physical fitness, their own nutrition, and all that stuff to become someone to aspire towards. And they're very aspirational, which is how they get clients, but they may not have good retention. So it's not something that happens all the time. Next one is intention. So a lot of people are very reactive with their marketing, and we're going to be talking about this a fair bit. Reactive marketing is good in certain situations. If something goes viral and wild, then you can get on top of that really quickly and utilize it to grow your business. It's fantastic. But relying on going viral is like relying on going into the gym and hitting a 50-kilo PB just one day because shit happens. It's not a realistic expectation to have. And a lot of coaches are just thinking about, oh, I'm just going to do more content this week. That is not a strategy for success. Your content should be planned out, or your marketing and your work efforts all overall should be planned out about 3 months in advance. And that's the hard work. Okay. I believe that for most business owners, the doing is not hard. Doing is easy. You show up, you do the thing. Okay. I believe that planning is harder 10 times out of 10 because you need to actually see, does it fit in with your values of your business? Does it fit towards your target market? And you're creating something. And then that's where the challenge is. You're creating something with intention versus just creating something out of reactivity or, oh, look, there's a tree, I'll do a video on macros. It's a much harder process. And consistency wins. Sporadic bursts of energy don't build a sustainable business. Never have, never will. A steady, intentional grind will. Okay? Everyone thinks of pushing hard at certain times and backing off. You're better off finding a slower cadence that you can operate at every single time. Very few businesses are balls out the gate all the time. So this one here is more of our mindset towards business. This is the fact that we're building our business on a shaky foundation. This is our approach towards business. And then finally, it's looking at how reactive that we are, okay, to that. So we're inconsistent with our social media. If we're online, you have to be on social media posting stuff. There is no way around it. If the only ways around it, if you've got an incredible email list and you can market to that. Nothing grinds my gears more than someone saying they're having a break for social media and they want to build an online business. And the reason for that is I want to get in shape, but I'm going to have a skip break from the gym. I want to lose fat, but I'm going to take a break from my diet. I can understand for a lot of people that it's hard and like you may get caught in the doom scroll or whatever it is, but that's not a problem with social media. That's a problem with your ability to monitor and maintain your own behavior and control that. So the question that I like to ask, I don't ask all the time because I don't want to upset people when they're, struggling with something, is do you want your lack of ability to regulate your own dopamine inhibit your ability to make money? No one has answered yes yet. Okay. So if you find that you are struggling with that, your social media is inconsistent, it's probably because you're playing on it and you're not actually using it as a tool. Social media is a tool. Everyone heard about this presentation from social media. It is a tool. The next one is client generation is passive. Just posting ain't going to do shit. Okay. Posting is not going to do shit. I've worked with people who have had well over 100,000 followers who would not leave a call to action, who would not post about their clients, and their client growth was abysmal. Okay. It was my fault for not pushing them harder. I should have pushed harder and harder with these people, but they tried to rely on client generation being a passive income because, they would have companies come to them, ask them to partner to make money, like selling food and stuff like that, affiliate income. But people aren't going to just join up because, oh yeah, that looks good. They had no reason to. The client generation was passive. So you need to actively market the whole time, and that's where it comes into planning. And then next one is always fixing problems. Again, this kind of falls back to building your business on shaky ass systems. If you find you're always solving problems, it's probably the fact that they weren't built on a solid foundation in the first place. Okay, so how do we fix this? This is the question, and this is the foundation for building a personal training business that lasts in 2025. This seminar is not going to get you 25 clients this week. Okay, and you know what? Even if it could, I wouldn't want it to. I know that sounds like it's the opposite for every other fitness business, social media guru. I don't want anyone to get 25 clients overnight. I think it's a terrible idea because if you don't have the systems to operate it, you're going to lose 25 clients. And these are going to be 25 clients who are going to talk badly about you to people who could also be your potential customer base. So number one, clear structured programs that meet client needs. Who is your avatar? What problems do they have? How does your program solve those particular issues? Okay. Let's use an example. I'll use basketball, okay? Because I used to play basketball at a pretty good level, okay? What does a basketball player need? They need an off-season program. They need an in-season program. They need some rehabilitative stuff for their knees. They need conditioning work. They may need vertical jump work. They may need injury proofing on their lower back, their hips, their knees, and their shoulders. Okay, and multi-directional work. So I need to have programs for the off season, for in season, for plyometric, for rehab. I would want to have all those tools available straight away. If I got those tools available straight away, when a basketball player comes in and I've done their needs analysis, guess what? Easy to apply the program and make the adjustments based on that client's individual needs. With having a set of programs that are written towards the particular needs and outcomes of your avatar or your niche, what you will find is that you know if your programs are good or not from that. So if you're giving a similar program to multiple clients with small adjustments just to individualize the program for that client's individual biomechanical requirements or exercise logistics, like they may not have a trap bar, for example, in the gym, you know if it's a good program. Okay. If you're writing a program from scratch all the time, you don't know if it's a good program. And so it's actually better to be proactive with programming, have it done in advance, and so you can apply it proactively rather than reactively. There is very few clients who come into Ascend who get given a totally individualized program written from scratch on day one. And the reason for that is I know the programs I've written before with other people have gotten outcomes. So I'm going to apply that to the same client, individualize that program, and see what tweaks could be done to make it better. Okay. It makes my time spent on actually helping the client execute said program and answering their questions rather than worrying about, man, have I picked the right variation of bicep curls? I'm not sure if I trained the biceps brachii, shortened head in the shortened position. Oh man, am I doing lengthened partials? None of that stuff matters a lot of the time, okay? None of that stuff matters. Now, coaching systems, I want to define very quickly how we deliver coaching. Is it weekly check-ins? Is it progress tracking? Is it ongoing education? What is the system we use to deliver our coaching? Because if you don't have a clearly defined system for how you deliver your coaching, how are you going to sell it? Number one. And number two, how are you going to clients to stick to it and understand the value that they're getting? Okay. A lot of client coaches, when they're doing a sales presentation to a client, they do not tell the client the value that the client is going to get. They do not tell how the coaching works or anything like that, and they do not give an expectation document to the client to let the client know exactly what the expectations are. Okay, you definitely need to do that. Now, in nutrition coaching, it's the same thing. What is the strategy that we need to do? And I think for every client, they're going to need some level of nutrition coaching. So with that, we need to look at, does a client need a food journal? Do they need to have macros? Do they need calories? Whatever it is, what are the different ways that you're going to deliver your nutrition coaching? Giving everyone the same macros or giving everyone macros is a shitty idea because the vast majority of clients don't know how to count macros. Most professionals struggle with counting macros and make very simple mistakes. So we need to have different levels of nutrition coaching in a clear, structured, scalable structure, like how we do our programs. The cool thing about this is here. This gives you content to do to talk about your program and what you do. And your client problems will fill this in very, very quickly with client issues that you can talk about online. Because if one client struggles with a problem, it means 100 other clients or potential clients are probably going to struggle with that same problem. So if content creation is always an issue, what do your current clients struggle with? And that can become part of your plan for your content. Now, onboarding needs to be seamless. I talked about this a little bit earlier with onboarding. What I mean from that is someone drops off within the first 2 to 4 weeks, it's an onboarding problem. So we need to make the onboarding clear. What I would do, does the client know how to use your app? Does the client know how to contact you? Does the client know how to do things? Okay. We need to make sure that the client understands everything that they need to do to get the best possible outcomes. And then finally, we need retention systems. How are you going to keep your clients engaged based on what is going on? Okay, based on what their results are, how are you going to keep them in your program? Map these things out before you start marketing your business. And I cannot emphasize that enough. If these aren't mapped out and you don't have a system for it, you are going to be going in firing, like shooting a gun with no idea of what you're aiming at. when I opened up my first 7-figure gym, we screwed this up so badly, it was insane. We went from having like maybe 85 members to 400 members in a period of about 4 months, which is a significant amount of members for a semi-private personal training business. We also implemented an app, went from paper-based programming to an app, and went through multiple coaching models. Because the facility changed, it changed the logistics of the actual delivery. And we were getting in 50 to 60 people a month, but also losing like 30 to 40 because we didn't have these systems mapped out. This is even more important for online because at the very least, what we had in the gym was they had a location for people to come and talk to us. Okay. So if they could come in and actually do the workout and stuff, people will still come in because people's expectations are quite low. But we lost a bunch of clients because we promised a bunch of this stuff in the sales consultations and calls, but we didn't have clearly defined systems to do it. I've never met a PT business owner who hasn't benefited from having stronger business structures there. And the cool thing is, once it's complete, it is complete. You don't need to go over it again and again and micro tweak it because the juice is simply not going to be worth the squeeze a lot of time. You need to just give people, the stuff that you've done again and again repeatedly, and maybe improve it incrementally and annually. So once a year, update these things. I do recommend adding in more programs and like more meal options and stuff like that for clients, but the majority of stuff, let it run for a period of time to make sure it's actually effective. Now, step 2 is to really collate and coordinate a proper marketing strategy. Every personal trainer needs a proper marketing strategy if you're going online. Who's your niche? Who are you talking to? Be specific. Are they professionals, parents, or athletes? Speak to their needs and their goals and in their language. Okay. Where to post. You need to post it where the clients spend the most amount of time. Be Instagram, Facebook, it could be LinkedIn, it could be TikTok, whatever it is. And you need some client acquisition strategies. And this is exactly what we recommend people do each and every week and build up to over a period of time. Okay. Daily stories. Share 3 to 5 engaging, valuable stories. 2 of them need to be social proof. Some tips, some behind the scenes, something like that every single day. People need to see you in the trenches, actually doing the thing that you do. So right now, if I wanted to do this strategy as we speak, I am simply going to take a photo of this presentation. Let's do it that way. And boom. I can then post that on Instagram and I've got social proof that I'm actually giving a presentation. Happy days. Amazing. Right? You could do that one doing a client check-in. You could do it with writing a program. The list is literally endless. People need to see the person doing the thing. Okay? We then need consistent posts. A minimum of 3 posts a week that add value, educate, and inspire. I would ideally recommend 5 posts a week, at least for most people. I would prefer a bunch of them to be in a reel and maybe 1 or 2 to be in a carousel or a single post. And I would want 4-to-1 ratio of awareness building content to conversion-based content. Okay. So what I mean by that is by awareness-based content, I would have 4 posts where we're solving problems for that particular niche or bringing them awareness of their problems and talking to them about it. Okay. So for here, I could be talking about retention strategies, for example. Here's 3 ways to improve your retention. Okay. If I'm then doing, hey, I've got a retention course, for example, which we do have. Still a little plug right there. I'm kidding. I'm not. I'm actually giving everything away, so we don't even need to worry about that. At the end of this, with that, that's the tool that you use to create a call to action. Now, with that, it doesn't mean that you don't engage and communicate with the people who have commented on the post or liked the post or sent DMs or whatever. It's just that the goal of 4 out of those 5 posts is actually to give your audience value, to curate that, establish yourself as a subject matter expert, and then with the call to action based post to be able to convert that content. You cannot feel bad about doing call to actions and trying to get people to buy your program. That is a mindset shift that every coach needs to come across. Telling people that you're good at what you do and you can help them solve their problem is your ethical responsibility as a coach if you can solve their problem. That is the big caveat. So if I was telling people that I could build their house for them and telling everyone that I can do it cheaper and more effectively in half the time than any builder out there, I would be a lying scumbag because I can't do that. But if I can help someone get out of back pain, hit a squat PR and improve their nutrition and feel the best they've ever felt in a long time, then guess what? I'm absolutely telling the truth, and it is my job, my responsibility to do that for that particular person. Okay. And then you want to have some polls and CDAs. I generally recommend 2 polls a week based around your clients' problems or what they want to see. And we go through all of this in our courses because polls are a really good way to drive engagement and then start conversations. I hate polls that say, do you prefer ice cream or apple pie, or something that's kind of irrelevant and dumb, because you can't actually shift the conversation, or you can, but it just takes a lot longer to shift the conversation towards something that's about that client's goal. Speed is king, and we want to give our clients value. And people who click on polls, who they're like, do you like hot weather or cold weather, and all that kind of stuff, they're just bored. Okay. If you say something like, I'm looking for 5 people who have experienced low back pain before, who want to set new PRs, for example, who want to set new PBs in the squat, bench, and deadlift. Give me a hell yes if you're ready. Give me a hell no if you're not ready to do it. The people who click on hell yes, it's very easy to coordinate that conversation. Okay. And you can start moving them towards their goals. There is nothing wrong with asking for business. There's nothing wrong with it. If you've done the ratio that we recommend, which is a 4-to-1 ratio of awareness-based content to conversion-based content, what will happen is people won't feel bad that you're asking. There was a trend, and it was particularly with fitness business mentors, where every single day they would put up a Facebook post that was a call to action. Hey, I just created a new free training on how to do X. Put your name in the chat for me to send it your way. Okay. My first comment is, how many free trainings can someone actually make in a week that are actually valuable, that aren't just recycled podcast? My second thing is that where is the value in that? Because after a period of time, people then start to realize that that's just simply a lead acquisition technique. It is not a technique to actually give value and help the client solve their problem. Okay. So no, it's just not a good strategy. And what I know is, because I've watched every single one of them. Okay. Every single person that did it, I watched all their stuff. And what I found over a period of time is that the engagement was really high at the beginning because it was fresh and new, and very quickly it plummeted down to SFA because they weren't giving value. They were just trying to convert clients the whole time, and people don't like being sold to all the time. But you can earn the right to sell, which is doing enough good work at the right time to actually get those sales. So this is more of the planning, and the actual doing the stories and the posts and all that kind of stuff is actually a really simple strategy. Okay, that's really simple to do. And there's tons of ways that you can make that better and more engaging over time. Generally, if you don't have a good plan, so you don't know your niche, you don't know where you're posting, you don't know when you're posting, you don't know what their problems are that you're solving, you're not knowing how to do that in a way, this stuff becomes really useless because you're shooting in the dark. If you've at least got a plan, the worst case scenario that can possibly happen is, if it doesn't work, is that you change the plan for next time. It's really simple. A lot of people get really attached to the fact, oh, that plan didn't work. That we all know the analogy, Thomas Edison took like 1 million goes to invent the light bulb. Cool, whatever. He basically said, I found 1 million ways it didn't work. Very, very profound. A little bit overused as a cliche, but that's a really, really good strategy to start running your business eyes through. A business is something that's built over a period of years rather than a period of days and weeks. And this is something that so many people don't have the emotional maturity to actually handle. Okay. Now, the last step in this is, are you actually good at what you do? And this is what I talked about earlier. So if you're on this call and still listening, and the people watching this, get a piece of paper and write out speaking, which is sales, client communication, doing video and social media content, and actually talking to the camera, and give yourself a score out of 10. That's number 1. If you're good at speaking, you will make sales. There's like every car salesman probably isn't very good at that. Okay. Next one, sales and systems. Can you confidently convert people? Do you have good systems in the beginning? And then your skills. So someone can speak to clients well, they can sell effectively, they can get by and build a solid business without having a high level of skills. They can get by with the bare minimum. I used to be a coach. I think I still am a coach who very strongly biases in towards skills being more important than speaking and sales. in terms of my own personal biases and preferences and opinions of what a coach should be. It took me a long time to reconcile with this emotionally, that speaking and sales were more important in the development of the business aspect of what we're talking about. Okay. And one thing I don't touch on too much in this because it's quite deep as a concept is the concept of what your why is for building your business. Your why for building a business will determine how long it lasts, and a lot of times, and the amount of effort you'll put into it, but it will also determine what type of people are attracted to it, and then how much time you'll put into that. So what I mean by that, if your why is just purely to make money, you will quickly get disillusioned with this because this isn't the best way to make money. If your why is to help people achieve their full potential or to do things they never thought they could, this is a business where your why will carry you for a very, very long period of time. And what I find is that when you can attach the speaking and the sales to your why for running an online personal training or in-person personal training business, you will find a much easier pathway to success. So I would recommend that everyone audit their speaking, their sales, and their skills on a scale of 0 to 10. And what I would do is I would try and break that down into the individual components of each one to then see where you're lacking. Because, and I said this today in my coaching call with my students, in 3 of my different coaching calls actually, the whole process of business coaching is the simple identification and removal of bottlenecks that are holding back progress. Okay, so if you're really good at training people and you know your anatomy and your biomechanics, you know, all the way through, and you know physiology, but you can't speak to save your life, you're going to have a real hard time getting people to make changes based on all that knowledge you have. Okay, speaking will become forward sales, because you need to be able to illustrate value and communicate effectively to clients, because that's going to develop trust. People will not buy a personal service of people they don't trust. Simple. Next one is sales. Can you confidently and ethically convert inquiries into paying clients without feeling like you're being pushy or feeling like you're doing something bad? If you have good sales skills, then guess what? Everything is easier. Any business becomes easier. So I would rate your sales skills on in-person, on phone, oversell by a chat, in converting people into a sales call, your confidence in closing. Identify where these are at. And then skills are relevant to your niche. So say we had a niche of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and we were training people to get better at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I would analyze my skill at injury prevention, injury rehab for the common areas. I would look at bioenergetics of the sport. I would look at strength and conditioning demands, and I would identify the common problems that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu athletes have. Once I've done that, I would rank all my skills in that area. How much do I actually know about that subject? And if I have shitty understanding of the bioenergetics of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I would want to bring that up. So whichever one's lower in my skill set, I would want to improve that. Now, this whole concept, of ranking yourself 1 to 10 in these skills, again, compare yourself to people who are at the top of the game at the level that you want to play at in those areas. Comparison is not the thief of joy here if we're doing this in a way where we can be emotionally mature about it and then improve ourselves, rather than just, you know, that person's got better abs than me. Okay, comparison can actually be a very useful tool to see how you fit and how well you go. And the vast majority of businesses that make multi-7 figures, they compare themselves all the time to their competitors. They use money as a way to, you know, even the score or to see the score. So it's something very, very useful. I did it with my students today, and they found they were giving themselves a score of 2 or 3 out of 10 for very key components of their businesses and the clients that they're working with. If you don't have a good skill set for that, or something that's not up to scratch, you're not going to be confident in your speaking and your sales. So there is a degree of interrelativity towards it. Okay, absolutely a thing. So this activity here, if most people do it, and they actually strive to get better in each of those categories, I'm not going to tell you how to do that because we don't have the time, and that's like a lifetime of work in one thing. If you don't have this, if we actually improve in those categories, you're guaranteed to improve your business. There is no way it's not going to happen. Absolutely can guarantee that 10 times out of 10. As soon as I improve my skills in marketing, I got more clients. As soon as I improved my scales, I got more client. As soon as I started speaking to people articulately and actually communicating what people have to do and not just spewing at them technical words like insulin sensitivity and metrotetrahydrofolate reductase enzymes, they started getting better results. And it all fit in better. Okay. So you rank yourself in these. This is where you can see where you're bad and where you can get up. And then after a period of time, you can apply that framework to everything. Next thing with trainers is this. And this is now is getting the common problems that I see. Most trainers in 2025 who are struggling to build a business, who struggle in 2024, are wasting their time. And I can do this by looking at anyone's phone and looking at your usage thing. If I see 4 hours a day on Instagram, I know you are wasting your time. And I don't mean that to be detrimental. Lachlan, thank you that you have listened to my voice. I hope it has serenaded you to a beautiful point. Oh, he's left. Cool. So on the gym floor, are we maximizing time? Are we spending downtime to actually prospect or market our business, or are we just sitting on our asses? Again, this is auditing giving your work ethic a rating of 10 out of 10. Social media, is your content planned, consistent, or impactful, or are you scrolling aimlessly? I do that all the time. It's like, if I pick up my phone and I look at it, I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing with this? Because it's a distraction monster. Okay. Now, workouts, if we're spending hours daily training, we're not doing it effectively and it's not growing our business. So with our workouts, we certainly take care of our fitness goals. I won't let any of my students this year not take care of their fitness goals and take them seriously. I don't want a minimal viable effort. I want like a really good crack at it for everyone, because that addresses the aspirational part of being an online coach. I don't give a shit if they're not like 6% body fat. I want them to just be basically trying to push themselves to be better. Okay. If you're spending, 3 hours a day working out, you probably suck at programming unless you're an elite level powerlifter, but you're not basically spending your time wisely enough. And then your weekly waste. So many of us are messing around with shit and distractions that actually don't drive us forward. And we fully dictate our time and control what we do. We have time outside of that to mess around and do whatever the hell we want. I would honestly say that 4 to 6 hours per day, 5 days a week, is enough to build a six-figure online business very comfortably if you do things in an efficient way. And I've seen it time and time again with coaches. Now, I don't say sustain it, because once you've built it, sustaining it is easier because you've already got the systems down pat. You've got the foundation. But 20 to 24 hours a week, 20 to 30 hours a week to build a six-figure business that you can actually sustain for between 5 and 10. I don't know anyone who wouldn't make that, who needed money, who wouldn't make that change. It's crazy to me that coaches don't do this, that they don't actually do this. They go, oh, I'm going to build my online business. I'm going to do it in half an hour a night. No, you're fucking not. No business gets built in that time frame. So we really need to have realistic expectations of what we can do. No employer will pay you $100,000 a year to work 2 hours a day. It's just stupid, right? Unless you've gotten a really elite level skill set. But we don't, realistically, in this. We're starting out in a business, so we can't have an elite level skill set. Doesn't mean you're bad. It just means that you're not elite world, top of the world yet. So if we can actually audit our time and actually go, are we spending 4 to 6 hours a day, 5 days a week on building our online business? That's how we're going to get there the fastest. I'm not asking for 12 hours a day. I'm not asking for you to be constantly on your phone and messaging, DMing people all day. Yes, DMing is part of it, but it shouldn't take you 12 hours a day, 4 to 6 hours a day for 3 months of solid, consistent effort based on all the things that I've talked about earlier: building your marketing plan, building a strong foundation, making sure your business is operationally sustainable. You know the solutions to your problems. You've got the systems down packed to service people. Yes, you can do it in 3 months. Absolutely. And this comes into the mindset here. This is kind of like the second last point, I think, here. Okay. Which is treat it like a job and a business at the same time. Okay. So, as I said before, a lot of people are trying to build their online business in 1 to half an hour a night or every now and then. It's not a business that grows like that. Personal training is simply not a structure offering that actually thrives like that. Now, could you do stock investing in that time? Yeah, if you trade for ETFs. for example. You just say, all right, cool, I'm going to put X amount of money into this account. That's going to grow at a rate of between 6 to 10% per annum. And I'm just going to do that once a week. And then I'll do well. And I'll just look at it and see if it's good. And then I'll give myself a pat in the back. That's an investment, not a business. A business takes hours, sweat, and a lot of sweat equity and skin in the game. So it's not a hobby. Treat it with the same structure and professionalism as a high level career. If you don't have an app by this point, get an app. If you don't deliver your systems effectively and your nutrition coaching professionally, become more professional. You will not get paid unless you're a professional. Everyone wants to be like James Smith and the EBT and call people the C word and do all that type of stuff all the time. Those guys actually deliver a really professional service. Okay. They may use their marketing and be fun, have a lot of fun with it and swear and be really engaging and entertaining, but their actual products, their lead pages, their social media marketing, and their systems below all that are absolutely rock solid. This is why they can make the amount of money they do, because they have rock solid systems, and the vast majority of that content is just awareness building, which is, hey, that guy in the pink shirt who roundhouse kicks and talks on the banana is really funny. When something else of his comes up, which is like, hey, join my 8-week challenge for X amount of dollars, you're much more likely to click on it and look at it because you already like and trust the guy because he talks to a banana. I know that sounds really ridiculous when I say that out loud, but he has incredibly solid systems behind what he does, and his marketing, I can guarantee you, it's very well curated and thought out, and he has a team of people doing it. It has been planned, okay? And they analyze what works and keep on getting better at it. But it wouldn't work if he had shoddy systems. If he had shoddy systems, everyone would just laugh at him, and that would be it. And he's laughing to the bank. So that's something to be aware of there. Next one is to set hours and goals. Okay, you need to set the hours and goals. It's basically that. It is really, really important to do. So with the hours and goals, you need to make sure that you have time for your work. Your work is important. If you want to build a 6-figure business, it's not easy. I could ask any one of my fitness business industry colleagues who have built multi-6-figure, 7-figure businesses, and not one of them has said, oh yeah, I build it on the weekends. Okay. If they did build it on the weekends, it was alongside building their gym or whatever it is that actually supported them, and then they had the financial resources to invest in it. Okay. I am going to actually go and ask everyone else how long it took them to build it. Okay. There have been some colleagues who have been lucky and been in the right place in the right time. But again, that's the exception, not the norm. And that's something we need to be aware of. Now, investing in yourself. Upgrade your skills, hire mentors, use tools that improve efficiency. Every expense in your business is tax deductible. And Hormozi says the best return is learning a skill. And I agree with Alex Hormozi 100% with a lot of things he says. He's very, very wise. And he's obviously very successful. If you're investing in yourself, okay, and you get a skill that's tangible to improve your business, it is a worthwhile investment. That is the key part, though. Is it a tangible investment that's actually going to bring return on investment? So if you're a trainer who fits into this category here, and you've got elite level skills, let's say I'm going to use myself, and I'm going to be, it's going to sound cocky, but it's more confidence than anything else. I've done rehab for 21 years. I've done musculoskeletal rehab for 21 years. I can say with a high degree of certainty, I'm pretty good right now. The vast majority of people that can come to me, particularly if I could see them in real life, I would be able to deliver a pretty solid resolution of their pain. Let's just say a new course comes out. The Postural Restoration Institute Maxilla course. It looks really interesting. Okay. I don't necessarily agree with all the Postural Restoration Institute methodologies and tools. I don't hate them though, and I think it's always really good to open your eyes to new stuff. But that's a significant investment of flying to the USA, because I think they only run it in the USA. I have to do the other courses beforehand, then I have to pay the money to get there. Let's just say $10,000. Really professionally interesting. Would it be the best thing to drive my income forward? No. A better thing right now for Ascend is to invest our money into advertising, because we just need to actually get in front of more people. That's our problem, because our systems, particularly in March, can be rock solid, that anyone can actually get all the tools that they need. So that's where we want to spend our money. We want to spend it on that. Would it be more personally satisfying
from an intellectual point of view to go do those courses? Yeah, absolutely. But it wouldn't be the right decision. So when you invest in yourself, you need to look at, is it the right investment for what I need? Okay. And I'm not saying that you don't hire mentors and stuff like that for technical expertise. Again, we're not primarily a business coaching company. We're actually a good service, a good delivery company, I like to call it, help people achieve their potential. Doesn't mean we're right for everyone. But then if someone definitely only needs sales, I'm going to say, look, you only actually need to go do the sales thing. Go speak to Trent. Go speak to Trent, who's in my team. He'll help you with that. We need to be fastidious, I guess, judicious with where we invest our investment in terms of our time, money, energy, and effort. Okay. For me, going from my master, finishing my degree, going for my master's, how much is that going to improve my life? Probably not at all. Okay. Just going to give me more of a headache. And then focus on growth. Okay. So with a task, why are you doing it? It's really simple. It should either improve client outcomes or build your business. That's it. If you're doing it just for the sake of doing it, is it going to improve client outcomes or build your business? I have seen people spend over a year filming their content library for their app. I just realized there's a crease in that shirt. Well, that's upsetting. Filming their content library for their app over a year. So they've got every detail there, but they haven't got an acquisition system. Is not having the exercise filmed by you in 4K for something like a push-up really going to negatively detract from the customer experience when you haven't even spoken to the customer and they are aware they can buy from you? I would hazard a guess that it doesn't actually make a difference to most people, okay? So it's something that's very, very important to look at there. When you're doing something, does this grow your business forward? When I considered doing this webinar, I knew that we didn't advertise it very much at short notice. Didn't use a whole bunch of graphics as my whole graphic team was away. We had 49 people show interest and register. So for me, that's a very useful use of my time to grow the business. And I'm not even selling anything. I'm actually giving shit away. So it's a decision that you make. If I did a webinar on the maxilla, how we can adjust that, work with that with training, it's probably not going to grow the business forward. So everything needs to be orientated around that. Okay, so from here, this applies to the people on Facebook, the people in the group, when I repost it, and I'll send it to everyone who registered for the product. 45-minute discovery session where I just talk to you about stuff and what's going for your business and create a roadmap. It's actually a really simple process. We've mapped out really effectively for people actionable steps to make 2025. We actually wrote this in 2024, but I wrote it and I didn't actually do that correctly. And basically just book a session, reach out to me on social media or through the group. I'm actually going to put the link in the event thing for it. And what we're doing as well, as part of Ascend, we are launching a new program at the end of March. We have a program called the Ultimate Personal Trainer. It's over 400 plus hours of material. We're giving it away as of next week. So what we're going to be doing is giving up a lead page for it, where we can just get people's email, because of course we're going to speak to you a little bit later on. We are going to give it away to everyone as a way of thanking that course for everything it did for a whole bunch of coaches. And our mission for the business is literally the reason why I did Ascend, and it was originally NPC, was to help personal trainers build better businesses and be better at helping clients. So it was about getting better. And we've done a course that I believe is better. I believe it's far superior, and it will help so many people achieve their goals in their business and getting from 0 to 10K. I believe it's a better tool than the Ultimate Personal Trainer. So we're going to give that entire product away. So I will be posting more about that over the next coming days and giving all that stuff away 100%. Like literally the only thing we ask for is an email address and the opportunity to speak to you again at some point. Again, not even the opportunity to actually speak to you on the phone, just to give you back the opportunity to tell you some information about the 0 to 10K trainer and the 10 to 25 trainer and the other courses in the future. So there's no sale whatsoever from this tonight. This is purely something to give back to the industry that has given me a lot over the last 21 years. So guys, we're going to wrap it up now. Thank you so much for your attending. I'll post a replay in the group and the invite and on my personal wall and all that kind of stuff. People can ask any questions they want. And thank you again. And I'm sure I'll be seeing you all soon.